appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate our fans that were able to make it out. Proud of our young ladies. I mean, 4 games in 8 days is tough. I think just as much mentally as it is physically. I mean, it's such a short turnaround on these games. And, like we talked about throughout the course of the game, we bent a couple times, but we didn't break. And, we fought till the end. Really proud of them for that. A couple things that stand out to me is, there's some stretches of some really good things going, and then some stretches of obviously things that we need to improve on. But, I wasn't pleased with our offensive rebounding. It got better in the second half. Ball security, again, needs to continue to get better. But the positives are we had 6 players with double figures, and 26 assists on 36 made field goals is pretty incredible. And so, typical this time of the year, things to work on, but a lot of things that I think are going well for us, and hopefully we can just stack days and continue to grow and improve in those areas.
All right, we'll start with questions for the student athletes. Mark, you want to start us off?
For Kira and Chase, can you speak to, I think this was a season high for layups. I mean, it was like, I think it was 20 of them at least. What does that say about the offense? What does that statistic, mean to each of you when you hear that you got, I think it was 20 layups tonight?
I think it just speaks to our ability to adapt and attack. I think that's been the point of emphasis for us the last couple of days, just really trying to get a piece of the paint, and it's cool that it paid off today.
And I think we were just doing a really good job reading what the defense was giving us. Obviously, we love to shoot the 3-ball, and we will if we're open, but on a lot of those screens, we had open cuts, and we took advantage of it and finished well at the rim.
Olivia?
Kira, tied your career high for made 3-pointers in a game and the first Badger of the season to score 20-plus points in a game. What was clicking for you tonight?
Yeah, I think really our transition, I think that's really where it loosened up. When we can get out and run, the defense isn't set yet, and that's where I think we can take the best advantage, and capitalize on it for sure.
Mark?
And for the players as well, I mean, just can you speak to, despite shooting, you and your teammates shot very well tonight, it was still hard to shake Bowling Green. I guess I want to kind of get your thoughts, especially in the second half. What was, one, what do you think, why do you think it was tough to shake them? And then 2, what do you think down the stretch, maybe was the difference?
I think that Bowling Green is a really good team. They always are. They always compete with the best of the best teams. And so we knew that going into the game. We knew that they were very aggressive and wanted to kind of throw the first punch. So I think our mentality was just give that aggression right back to them. And, of course, there's obviously mistakes that we made, but I think for us overall, just continuing to go at them. And they had times where they came back a little bit, but we just had to stay together as a team and continue just attacking every possession for what it was. I think a lot of the issues stemmed from us fouling. Mm-hmm. We were doing really well when we were playing in transition, and that started from getting stops. So either letting them score or letting them foul, I think hindered us a little bit. Us fouling hindered us a little bit. But overall, I think just things to work on, and we'll grow from it.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job attacking the paint and getting downhill, and so, us bailing them out really allows, especially when the time is stopped, to score at the free throw line is something we need to get better at for sure.
Olivia?
Bowling Green did a really good job at holding Gift back from getting rebounds for most of the game. So how did you guys kind of have to make up for the fact that they were locking her down and keeping her from getting those boards?
Yeah, like Coach said, in the first half, we only had 1 offensive rebound, and that's not up to our standard. And so we talked about it, and, we're a lot better in the second half. But I think even on the defensive end, a lot of their guards weren't crashing. And so I think we had to be a little bit more intentional about that, about just getting a hit and then going in and trying to help her out, because we can't expect, the 5s to get all the boards. It's a collective effort, and we all have to just go to bat for each other, no matter whose night it is on the boards or not.
Yep.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Mark?
Yeah, Shay, I just want to kind of get your thoughts on, I don't think you played much last year, maybe a game or two. Just what's it like, being back on a regular basis? What do you feel best maybe about your game at this point, and what are you looking to improve on?
Yeah, last season I was out with an injury, and my college journey has not been fully what I expected it to be, but I've been blessed just to, continue staying faithful and trusting the process throughout the entire thing. And luckily for me, I met Coach P and just got to be surrounded by the most incredible teammates and coaching staff. And I feel like everything is just really falling into place. And when you don't play for a year, there's a big learning curve when you come back. You would think it would be instant, right? Like you don't just forget how to play, but those in-game things take a little bit to really get your confidence back, get the feel for the game back, just the speed of the game back. And so just continuing to give myself grace, and I'm so lucky to have teammates like Kira, she's been telling me every day I need to be more aggressive and look to score a little bit more, and also just continue to set my teammates up. And I'm kind of a type of player who will do whatever I can to make the team better. And I just want us to get wins at the end of the day. So I'm really grateful that I'm here and excited for what's ahead.
Any other questions for the student athletes? You two are good to go.
Awesome. Thank you.
You can have it.
Shoot.
No, here you go, girl.
I've got lots of them. All right, we'll start with questions for Coach P. Olivia, you want to start?
Hi, Coach. So 26 assists tonight, just 15 turnovers. Obviously, the 36 made baskets. How did your offense kind of find its rhythm tonight, finally, after maybe not some ideal showings to start the season?
Yeah, I'm proud of our girls. We've got a whole new roster, and it's going to take time to get acclimated and used to playing with each other. I mean, you got a lot of different lineups, a lot of different rotations, and so I've been honestly pretty pleased with what we've been doing offensively. Is there room for growth? Absolutely. I think we've got quite a few. We've got good depth. We can rotate in a lot of shooters. I think the balanced scoring on our team this year is going to be really, really important for us. I think in the first couple games we've had a different leading score, at least 3 out of the 4 games. But I do think the depth and the balanced scoring is going to definitely help us. To be able to play inside out, I feel like sometimes, and we do love the 3 ball, but I think the importance of being able to play inside out, getting a piece of the paint, is really important. And I thought tonight we did a really good job of that. I was really pleased with what we were doing in transition. I thought we missed a couple opportunities, but I thought there were some really good stretches where we got out and really tried to push in transition and create some opportunities from that.
Joey?
Coach, with signing day today, obviously 3 players from in-state. You haven't seen live action, at least as the Wisconsin head coach here in the state, but what have you gathered from Wisconsin as a prep for the next level in terms of girls and women's basketball in the state?
Yeah, I'm excited to get out and watch some high school games. Our staff is. We're fortunate that we were able to get out quite a bit this summer and watch them with our AU teams. But high school teams is something that's going to be really important to us too. And so, there's a lot of talent in this state. There's a lot of talent, and we said from day one, we wanted to do our best to lock down these borders, and we feel like that all starts with the environment that we're creating in that locker room to help our student athletes be at their very best. And, long-term, the culture that you create. And, I think there's a certain amount of pride that goes into wearing your home state jersey and representing something, bigger than yourself. And I think we're really blessed with the 3 young ladies that we got in early signing period. Gritty, hard-nosed, tough. I think they're going to thrive in our system. Not only great basketball players, but incredible human beings that I think are going to be great leaders and great ambassadors for this university. And so we really feel blessed with the ones that we were able to sign and look forward to continuing to recruit this state.
Evan?
Coach, what's the impact that your 2 bigs, Doria Jaya and Gifty Uchenna, have had, and what's it like to be able to rotate those 2 players in and out?
Yeah, I think it's really big. And then, I think you got to talk about Shay being able to play some of that 5 spot. And, one of the young ladies you haven't seen yet is Allie. Allie's had some really good practices. Unfortunately, there's only so many minutes in a game. But, I think you can talk about Doria and Gifty, and we should. But I also think you got to talk about how hard they compete in practice against an Allie and a Shay, and, how that just continues to help them. And, we're a big believer iron sharpens iron, and the more we can compete in practice, the better it's going to make us. But it's nice having that size. I mean, two young ladies that I think are pretty good rim protectors. I know, we're talking a lot about Doria's block shots right now, but Gifty's awfully good in regards to being able to be a rim protector as well, and then both really good rebounders. So, I think that's important right now. Again, we're playing a lot of people. Nobody tonight played over 30 minutes, which is great to be able to see on a box score. And, after 4 games in 8 days, probably a really good thing for our team. But, if we can stay fresh and use our depth and continue to rotate so we have fresh legs out there, I think that's only going to help us as we continue to move through this season.
Mark?
Speaking of your bigs, as far as I know you don't put a lot of stock into your starting lineup, but it seems like, in that 5 spot, it's been a handful. It seems like it changes every game. And I guess I'm just wondering, what are you looking for as you look for a fit, for that position at that point in the game?
Yeah, you're right. It's just the start of our rotations. And, I think a lot of people talk about starting lineups versus who's in the game at the end. And, that's where really want our players to lean into. I think, you're always an injury away, right? Or, a sickness away. And so the more we can keep our girls, being resilient, switching things up for them, making them adaptable, I think it's going to only help us throughout the course of the season. Fortunate for us, I don't think we've got somebody in that position that's completely dominated every day in practice. I think different days, different players have stepped up and looked a little bit different. And so we just really haven't settled in yet. But that starting lineups, you're right, it's just not something we put a lot of emphasis in right now.
Olivia?
Obviously, I asked Kira, but from a coach's perspective, what did you see from her tonight that really, she unlocked her shot?
Yeah.
What did you see from her that led to that?
Yeah, she's such a hard worker, and she can score on a lot of different levels. I thought, she's really trying to be mindful of being aggressive for us on the offensive end. Not surprised, she shoots at a high rate in practice, and so not surprised with what she was able to do tonight. And, I give this team a ton of credit right now, just with so many new players and the ball movement. And we really try to celebrate that, and we watch those plays in the locker room and talk about this is really good basketball when we have multiple people touching it and the ball stays hot, and, just finding who's got the hot hand, right? So really proud of them for that. Not surprised by KD. She's a heck of a player. I think we talk a lot about her offense, but I just feel like defensively she does some really, really good things for us too. So I thought she had a really all-around good game for us.
Mark?
I was going to ask you one thing, but I'll hold off for a second. As far as Kira goes, I think she got 2 fouls early, and I know that's one of those things you want to see how players react in those situations. And you just talked about her defense. What did you see from her defensively after she got those 2 early fouls?
Yeah, I thought she stayed aggressive. I think she's got a high IQ, so she understands, screening action and a pretty good communicator and keeping everybody else organized as well defensively. But she's pretty athletic. I mean, she's got a great frame. She's long, but she moves laterally really well. She's got the ability to rebound and I think guard multiple positions. And so just a hard-nosed, gritty player. Yeah, I think right now, early in the season, we're still trying to figure out, who you can kind of trust with 2 fouls and who knows, who you need to kind of maybe sit them and just wait a few minutes. But it's early. We're figuring it out. We're playing a lot of players. And so, I think you get 2 fouls early, knowing the depth that we've been playing with. You feel a little bit more comfortable right now testing the waters as a coach.
Oh, I was going to ask a couple of things. I won't ask them consecutively. I'll share the microphone. As far as
We
your
got some extra.
your recruiting class, obviously, Giselle and Leo, those were 2 players that, they had committed to the previous staff. I guess I'm wondering, when you come in, how do you handle, players like that who may be committed to the previous coach, and, what's your process for, I don't know, how do you handle a situation
Yeah,
like that?
no, I think that's a great question. I think you know, for the players, they've got to kind of reevaluate if this is where they want to be. And as a coaching staff, you've got to reevaluate, you know, how do they fit into your system? And so, you know, the first thing we do is get on the phone, have a conversation. We dive deep into, thank goodness, in today's world and technology, kind of most of the time, but, you know, just watching film and doing our due diligence in regards to making sure they fit our style and can thrive in our system. And then really getting to know them as people and, you know, just those conversations with high school coaches, AU coaches, with them, with their family members, and making sure it's a good connection and a good fit that way. So just, you know, I think that's 3 of the top 4 players in the state. And as we went through that process, it was a no-brainer. And really excited about having them join our family.
Olivia?
Bringing it back to defense, you know,
Let's go, girl.
had some really good stretches in this game where you were shutting them out, holding them scoreless for a couple minutes at a time. What do you want your team's defensive identity to be this year?
Yeah, really gritty, tough, hard-nosed, without fouling. You know, we've got to pride ourselves in not putting teams on the free throw line. And they shot, I mean, to get to the free throw line 22 times, pretty impressive. And then the fact that they made 20 of them, I mean, that's high-level efficiency. And so, and again, give them a lot of credit. That's a great program, tremendous coaching staff. They were really aggressive. You know, I think as we continue to evolve as a team, just really understanding scouting reports and personnel and who's a driver and who prefers the right over the left and, you know, who do you have to chase on screens. I think the challenge is 4 games in 4 days. There's not a ton of prep time. There's only so much mental capacity for your players. And although they dive in and they've been doing a great job with it, it's not like you have 2 or 3 days to prep for a team. And so that feels a little bit different. But I think just being more assignment correct in regards to how we're defending some actions, you know, I think we got to do a better job not allowing the second and third shot opportunities as well.
Mark?
One other thing about your recruiting class, I guess I'm wondering if you could briefly just touch on each one of the players and what you think what you like about them, what you think they'll be able to add to the program.
Yeah, I think Giselle's just a really scrappy, hard-nosed, tough defender. I mean, how many players are out there that just love defense? You know, they're not a dime a dozen. And she just prides herself on the defensive end. Competes at a high level. I think really has some strong leadership qualities. Leah, I think she's got a really high upside. She's got a really athletic frame. She's got good size. I think she'll be able to evolve into a player that can both play with faced up and with her back to the basket. But I really like her athleticism and her size. And then Addie, I mean, obviously not only one of the best players in the state, but a top player in the country, and, you know, a young lady that can play multiple positions, faced up, back to the basket, but also, you know, on the defensive end, I think, you know, with her length and the way she can guard and defend and move laterally and rebound, I think she's going to, you know, make a huge impact for us as well.